Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to Shadowhunters Season 4, Episode 6, or 316, titled Stay With Me. Unable to remove the twinning rune, the Shadowhunters take another approach. His magic transfusion leaves Magnus suffering from ill effects. So it seems like there's only going to be two stories in this episode, though there's always the possibility of a Simon, Maya, Luke side story that just isn't mentioned. But yeah, they did mention that at the end of the last episode that they might be going to see the Silent Brothers, which, yeah, that could work. But I, assuming that unable to remove could also refer to that, and that just happened in between episodes. And yeah, I wonder what ill effects, other than the ones we've already seen, are going to affect Magnus. But let's get this started in 3, 2, 1, go. Why? See? Because there's going to be a Luke story. So that's also going to be related? Is this a seizure vision or a flashback? You'd think that dancing would help in a combat sense. Make you more fluid in your movements and all that. Sort of in a Karate Kid like scenario where the training is actually being used. I mean, the chores are actually being used as training. Using the magic as defibrillator. Is that interesting use? Mara. Really? The silly queen has it? Here's the thing. This, Sebastian, gonna shut up now? Gonna shut up now. Yeah, I was right about it happening in between episodes. Also, can you really call it demonic if it was a binding room between two angels? Hmm. I mean, if you can't go to Lilith, try calling up Michael. There's got to be some way to summon him. Even though there's a book reason they can't, doesn't mean there's a show reason they can't. It's weird to see him with normal hair. It's like in, yeah. I mean, Lorenzo did warn him. He did also say that he's bound to help warlocks who need it, so Yeah, and what warlock is going to help you with this? Because I can't really see many. Yeah. And how are you going to bind her and banish her? You really think he'd be willing to stand against his dad's ex? What, is it going to be a truth field? You're willing to go down into those rat infested sewers? Hmm. Hmm. That is an angle you can play. I believe that counts as an attack on the head of the Institute. Could you not theoretically take Lorenzo to take his power back and then have another try the infusion? Like, see if his body would be more likely to accept that? I figured it was going to be her older form. It's an even older form still. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, really? I would not believe he'd be willing to take that. Because you take blood from him, you take it from Clary. I feel the emphasis should have been on Lilith and not Head, because there was already going to be a head on that platter. Also, it's interesting him turning on Lilith when he was so devoted to his mother the first time. So she's the owner of the bookstore in this. It is because it hurts so much that makes love so important. Gee, I've really changed my tune from a couple months ago, considering I was in that exact boat. Good enough. Uh, Is she gonna get sucked through with him? Because that'd be very interesting. Hmm. I mean, there is a little difference between you two, considering Kane killed his sibling. Hmm. What use is having magic if you can't use it? I mean, to be fair, as this, he does feel an even closer connection, considering he did have that idea of them growing old together. Ah, they've given her a Is this the exact same place that Magnus met with Asmodeus? Looks like the exact same room. I don't know why that made me jump. How unsettling would it be to meet someone from biblical times? I was wondering who they were squared up against in the thumbnail. Here's the thing. Can the angelic rune defeat Asmodeus's imprisonment? If only you met them. uh, you just saved my life. He's probably not going to be very happy to admit that. Okay, I guess that answers my question. Or is it only Lorenzo that can't? Let's see what Izzy has done for this. I do like the feathered cloak they've given her. So like folded wings. Hmm. Jace, what are you... Okay. Well, considering Jace can do nothing to harm him... Hmm. Here's the question. Considering the way the rune is acting in this, could it possibly be done in inverse? Like Clary gets close to him, and he starts acting like her. Yeah. He did always say that it tasted wrong. Hmm. That's an issue. Where did you send him? Oh, this looks familiar. Well, if she can't get close to him, at least she can use portals from a distance. Hmm. I do have to wonder what exactly Cain and Lilith are going to be doing. Trader Scott? Hmm. Now, this is an angle I never thought. Uh, I. Okay, yes. Ah. So he's not willingly. He's basically indebted. You know, you could have just wrapped his arms up and then stuck him on a trolley. I'm guessing we're going to be investigating what Maris told them not to. I do suppose this is one way to get that aspect into the story, considering they can't go the way it happened originally. Can you give Magnus a job? Hmm. I mean, yeah, that's something that they've kept in from the book. That is part of the Shadowhunter wedding rites. If you remember from, I think that was discussed when Alec and I'm blanking on her name. Um, Lydia, when they were engaged, the exchanging of a family ring and the drawing the marriage runes on each other, a rune on the hand and a rune on the heart. But it's never been done between a downworlder and a Shadowhunter because there's never been precedent for there to have been done because the clave doesn't exactly favor mingling. Let's put it that way. So, yeah. When he walked in there, I thought, oh, well, because Magnus is effectively mortal now, he's going to need to start actually making money. So maybe have that bookstore sort of been like a wayward home for ex-Shadow World members. Maris being an ex-Shadowhunter, Magnus being an ex-Warlock. But no, the marriage angle is a little surprising. So, the reason I say this is an interesting way to bring glory into the story is because, yes, the sword of Michael is used in the book. I'm not going to go too far into what it is used for, but I will say it's similar to what is being said in this episode. The difference is the method of obtaining it. So, in the book, at this point, Simon still has the Mark of Cain. And so what they do is because Clary, Jace, and Sebastian are all off in this traveling apartment. Jason, Sebastian disappeared from the rooftop and were basically acting as one. And Clary went to infiltrate them because that was the one thing that Sebastian wanted was his sister. Because, like in this, he has feelings for her that borderline, that cross the border between siblings. Again, to put it as broadly as possible. So, she and Simon, they go to the Silly Queen to get an idea, and she suggests retrieving something from the New York Institute that had been taken from Sealy Lands. This being a pair of fairy rings that allowed the wearers to communicate between each other. And, so rather than returning that to her, Simon and Clary decide, how about we do this to communicate between us while Clary infiltrates Sebastian to try and get Jace back. And whilst they're doing that, I always forget his name. While she's doing that, Simon, Magnus, Jocelyn, Isabel, and Alec decide to summon, I'm gonna say Azrael, but it might have been Azazel, not Azrael. Right, because they actually do have that bit of, hey, hey Clary, is Azazel the cat from the Smurf? That's Azrael. But yeah, they summon him to try and, because he's the weaponsmith for the demons. He brought weapons to man, and they think, hey, maybe he can give us something to separate the bond since it's demonic in nature. And he's like, nothing that man can make or I can make can separate this bond. He does, however, say that the Sword of Michael might be able to because it has heavenly fire and can destroy that which is demonic. And well, what happens is once they do that and they finally get him to leave because he decides to stay around being a nuisance for a while. Oh yeah, what happens is Chairman Meow, Magnus's cat, runs into the protective circle, and Simon instinctively rushes in to save the cat, forgetting about the fact that if you step over that line, you're at the mercy of the demon inside. So Azazel picks him up and then notices that the mark of Cain's on Simon's foot. Is like, oh shit, you've done that? Fuck this, I'm out of here. And so he leaves, and so what the others do, without Jocelyn being there, is they go to Luke's farm, and Magnus gives Simon an incantation to read, while the others all dip off back to the farmhouse, since it's a long way away from the lake, and Simon summons Raziel. Because he's got the mark of Cain, nothing the angel can do can hurt him, because angels don't like to be summoned. They can't be bound in the same way that demons can, because they can still smite those who summon them. That causes them pain to be on the human realm, because they don't exactly have a physical form. And so Simon summons him. Raziel instantly is like, you're an idiot for doing this. I can smite you for this. And Simon's like, not with this, you can't. And so it ends up with Simon and Raziel making a deal where Raziel will give him the Sword of Michael, but he will take the mark of Cain from Simon. And Simon hesitates, and Raziel's just like, do you not trust the word of an angel? He's like, no, I just want to make sure that if we agree to this, you're not going to instantly smite me and my friends back at the cabin once this mark is gone and everything. And yeah, so that's how they get the sword in the book. Whereas this, it seems like it's leading to the Clave having found at least parts of the sword. I don't expect them to have the whole thing, but they seem to have parts of it, and they're extracting the heavenly fire within, and testing what it does on downworlders. Like, originally I thought when we saw that shot of the one being tortured, I thought maybe they're doing experiments like Valentine did, and they're injecting the downloaders with different types of blood to see what happens and becomes of them, as possibly trying to create a mutated army of downloaders that has all their abilities but is subservient to the Clave. But now I'm thinking maybe they're trying to expunge the demonic part of downworlders using this heavenly fire, because it destroys that which is demonic. And this might be a spoiler, but there is in the book someone getting hit with the sword that does take a demon part out of them, but because they were more good aligned, they survived and the demonic part was destroyed. So it could be that that's what they're attempting. And that also goes against the whole, oh, they're just completely glossing over. No, wait, no, that happened in book 5. Never mind. Yeah, so who knows? Anyway, I'm very interested to see where this is going, to see what exactly Project Heavenly Fire is, because that's the title of the next episode, Heavenly Fire. Yeah, so I'm very interested in what that is. But I guess with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.